Like, it was only 200 people. Bro, I thought you meant in the entire state of California. I was like, bro, that is literally like, I thought you meant a statewide implementation of an initiative that she put forward, dropped statewide. How can I not see the ads? By subscribing, chatter. Oh, Gamer Patch, thank you for the 20 community gift the subs, allowing 20 people to also no longer see the ads. Absent Serotonin, thank you for the 5 get the subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
38-year-old Kamala Harris was swept into office as San Francisco's district attorney, and as she did, she made history.
For too long, we've asked these very simplistic questions about criminal justice policy that offer only 2 choices. You know, either you're soft on crime or you're tough on crime. And instead, I suggest we should be smart on crime.
What was smart about the Smart on Crime campaign? You're telling the progressives, like, I'm not just going to throw everybody in jail. You're telling people who want, you know, more of a tough on crime approach that, like, I still believe in this. She was prosecutor coming out of the tough on crime 90s.
At a time when American drug policy was incredibly punitive. The idea was that...
Okay, bro, we have to investigate Kamala Harris. No. How the f does she still look the same, bro? That's weird. Yo, what's going on? Bro, that's just like, she was 39 there or something. Nah, that's weird. That's weird, man. Is she a vampire? I'm here to ask the bold and brave questions. Nah, that's weird. I thought it was odd that she like obviously is 60 years old and looks like she's 40. But looking at her back when she was actually 40, I'm realizing I think she took a deal with the devil. Okay, 666. She ate the behemoth that kept her from aging. Like, I think she just got perma-stuck in her 40s. How long has she looked like she's 40 years old? It's the same one that Bernie Sanders ate. Maybe she is a real progressive after all. Because Bernie Sanders in like 1993 was like 150 years old. And since then, he has looked the exact same. And now he's like 250 years old, but he still looks exactly the same, you know? Telltale sign.
That tough on crime isn't working. What we need is the numbers rather than the emotions that are driving a lot of our policing.
Let's build metrics into our measure of how effective we have been with our criminal justice system.
The metrics by which she judges her success. As prosecutor, it's the numbers, the cases that you won.
I did an analysis of who our homicide victims were, who were under the age of 25 when they were, and I learned that 94% of them were high school dropouts. Perhaps untraditional for me to ask the question, but I did.
She was raised primarily by a single immigrant mother who was a scientist. It's kind of like, what can you prove, not what do you feel?
Nobody is looking to their DA for soaring speeches about the future of democracy.
But I also think that women, in order to be taken seriously, particularly in politics, you do have to show that you have a command of the facts, the figures, the numbers, that you're not emotional.
And so that aspect of national politics has not come very easily to her.
Kamala Harris, a candidate for California's Attorney General.
Your opponent, Ron Gold, has said that he is for the legalization of marijuana recreationally. Your thoughts on that?
That he is entitled to his opinion.
It was very difficult to pin her down about what she thought about things.
Kamala Harris's stance on teacher tenure is not entirely clear.
She would try to say, you know, I'm a prosecutor.
100%, this is correct. I mean, they're trying to make her sound more progressive, and she did do certain things that would come across as progressive by those days' standards. But the reality of the matter is she did a whole lot that wasn't, okay? That's her openly on the legalization of marijuana as an initiative, for the record. Make no mistake. She wasn't like pro legalization there. But also beyond that, she has quite literally talked about rehabilitative justice while simultaneously on rehabilitative justice. I have videos of Kamala Harris from way back when she was openly talking, I think it was like the Chicago Ideas Seminar or whatever, where she literally is being like, it is a delusion to think that you can educate our crime problem. Like verbatim. Why you got videos of Kamala on your phone? I don't have videos of Kamala on my phone. I just remember things. Yeah. If you rewatch the whole speech at Chicago Ideas Forum, you get a very different approach to crime. Really? That doesn't match what she said about the Back on Track initiative? I know, which is why I'm telling you, she straight up flip-flops on that pretty aggressively. In the Chicago Ideas Festival, she openly is making fun of protesters that say build schools, not prisons. This is California that we're talking about. Yeah. Also, she looked at the dropout numbers and then did the most like cop thing you can do. She was like, oh, people do crime when they drop out of school. So what should we do? Prosecute people for truancy, which is, again, an insane thing. Like, my expectation of her is not to be this like super woke progressive DA at a time when that wasn't like a real thing. Yeah. Wow. Oh, this is the famous "You Don't Want Kamala Harris" video from 2019. Many of the DGGers will lose their minds when they see me watching this because they think this is why me and Destiny broke up when we were friends. Anyway, we'll continue with this.
I have to remain neutral about these things. I really shouldn't take a position.
I have many clients in that matter, so I cannot talk with you about what we're doing in terms of the case.
Very seldom is she like first on an issue, right? She kind of like checks out the temperature first, sees how others around her are kind of reacting, and then she jumps in.
I want to be very well informed about exactly where it's going and what the potential of my opinion would be before I just express something off the cuff.
She also enters public life at a time where you really didn't see any women of color in prominent positions in elected life.
It was a different time in a largely white political system. She had those ambitions from, I think, a very young age to make it in politics, to be highly successful, to make lives better for people. But I think she also knew that as a woman of color in positions that had always been held by white people, she wasn't always going to be the one who was out on the front edge. She's not a trailblazer in a policy sense.
California's Attorney General Kamala Harris announced that she will indeed run for the U.S. Senate.
Our new U.S. Senator, Kamala Harris! Woo!
Can you think of any laws that give government the power to make decisions about the male body?
Okay. So in terms of analyzing someone's progressive bona fides, I consider a Senate tenure that was short-lived under a Trump administration to be akin to a Mickey Mouse ring, okay? Even though the Mickey Mouse ring actually is a very valid ring and maybe even a harder ring to win than normal NBA rings, I'm using what people colloquially mean Mickey Mouse ring. Why? Because Democrats love acting like they are literally the most progressive people you've ever seen when they have no power, okay? When Democrats are in a position of no power, they will go balls to the wall in terms of how progressive their policy positions are and what they champion. Kamala Harris was pro-Medicare for all. What I will say, however, that I think is interesting is that she also did run as a progressive in a field where there were many progressives. So that to me is a little bit more indicative that like her instincts at the very least her instincts were that saying that you are even for progressive causes will allow you to win elections.
I'm happy to answer a more specific question.
That the government has the power to make a decision about a man's body?
I thought you were asking about medical procedures that are unique to men.
I'll repeat the question. Can you think of any laws that give the government the power to make decisions about the male body?
I'm not thinking of any right now, Senator.
Kamala Harris really thrives as a politician, and this makes sense in the context of her background when she is the one asking the questions.
They have not asked me to open an investigation, but...
Perhaps they've suggested?
I don't know. I wouldn't say suggest.
Hinted?
I don't know.
Inferred? You don't know. Okay. In your March 24th summary, you wrote that, quote, after reviewing the special counsel's final report...
But I will say that no one...
Sir, I'm asking a question.
What a lot of Americans saw was a senator who just seemed exciting, who seemed willing to hold...
No one saw that. No. This is revisionist history. She had a couple good moments. Ain't nobody thought she was an exciting senator. Come on, bro.
These men accountable, not let them kind of worm their way out of the questions she was asking.
That was really important for Kamala Harris when she served in the Judiciary Committee. She knew how to turn conversations into really serious examinations and cross-examinations of the folks who were brought before the...
Oh, bro, I'm sorry. No, hearing moments do make the news, especially those hearing moments. They were heavily televised. The Brett Kavanaugh stuff was popping. People did like her for the Brett Kavanaugh. The reason why I'm disputing the narrative is not because like those things didn't get a lot of play on MSNBC. It certainly did. I just think it is ridiculous to claim that those moments actually led to like a lot of people being excited about her because of her primary performance in 2019. Like that's it. That's the only thing. Like it did not translate to like a Katie Porter style phenomena, right? Like I would say Katie Porter and her hearing and her moments and her pop-off moments and her hearings are almost iconic. Like I have obvious issues with Katie Porter, whatever, that's besides the point. But like people know Katie Porter and people know Katie Porter by the whiteboard. You know what I mean? They know exactly what that's about. A lot of people, and she's had a lot more moments than just like that one-off with Brett Kavanaugh or with Bill Burr or Barr. They know Katie Porter as the woman with the whiteboard who just rips into, you know, pharmaceutical CEOs, things of that nature, like bankers. So did I say Bill Burr, Bill Barr?
Almost like a perfect recipe there for her to introduce a version of herself to folks who might not know her outside of California.
I do want you to be honest.
I'm not able to be rushed this fast. It makes me nervous.
I think the fact that those clips went viral shows that there's an appetite, right? She is positioning herself as America's advocate.
You had donors, I mean, just busting down her door after that saying you need to run for president.
Yeah, this is, again, revisionist history. And also, regardless of what the fuck donors felt about her, she literally got dunked on so hard in the 2019 primaries. Come on. It's part of the reason why Joe Biden picked her.
I stand before you today to announce my candidacy for President of the United States.
Her campaign announcement in Oakland, I think there were 20,000 people there. I mean, it was just sort of insane. Expectations have become so high for her after those moments.
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record.
The 2020 primary happened in a political moment where the energy on the left and among progressives was very strong.
The 2020 campaign was when her background as a prosecutor was really a liability.
She tried to reposition herself as a progressive prosecutor because that was sort of the hot fad. And
And you got in here like Megaphonics being like, no, she was a progressive prosecutor. Like at the time, there was no such thing. Okay. That was not a thing. It was not a thing.
It never quite fit.
I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I would never have described Kamala Harris as a progressive. She called herself the top cop in San Francisco, and then later when she was elected attorney general, like she used those language.
You know, her career sort of predated this idea of what a progressive prosecutor is.
She really had trouble packaging her background in law enforcement as palatable to the base. What you saw often was a candidate who just seemed to be trying to say what she thought would catch fire with the base at that point.
Who here would abolish their private health insurance in favor of a government-run plan? All right.
A lot of Democratic voters didn't feel they were engaging with a candidate who maybe actually believed that. And people walked away not entirely sure what she believed.
I never said she was 100% progressive. She did objectively do some progressive things that even today leftists be happy with. Obviously, she did bad shit too. I'm just saying. Don't make me pull out all your fakes. Where is it? She genuinely did some pretty base back in the day. The Back on Track initiative was really the genesis of rehabilitative justice. Bro, you did. You said it was the basis of rehabilitative justice. Like Kamala Harris invented rehabilitative justice. Look, why? Because she wanted to get prisoners to be educated. Anyway, Megalibphonics. Was I wrong? She dropped recidivism from 54% to less than 10% with the Back on Track initiative.
The vast majority of parents have a natural desire to parent their children well and love their children. But there are some who don't necessarily have this and the resources to do that. And
I don't know about those numbers. I don't know about those numbers. I will look into it. That sounds crazy, and I doubt that it's from just one policy initiative in general. That seems personally to me like it was only 200 people. Bro, I thought you meant in the entire state of California. I was like, bro, that is literally like, I thought you meant a statewide implementation of an initiative that she put forward dropped statewide recidivism from 54% to 10%. You literally delivered that information. You delivered that information like I was about to be like, Kamala Harris is the greatest criminal justice mind of all time. Okay. 54 to 10% drop in recidivism is literally like turning one of the worst penal systems in the country, California, to Norway. Okay. Like we're talking, no, better than Norway. 10% recidivism. God damn, dude. She implemented as DA in San Francisco and then AG. They ran a pilot program in LA. The point is she did it and it just needs to scale. Oh, the point is she fought for it, implemented it, trialed it, and it worked. She had that dog in her. They just need to do it more. All right. I'm more open-minded. It's just crazy to say that still, regardless, in the California prison system, which is like notoriously bad, despite the fact that right-wingers personally think that they're like playing tickle party in prison in California. It's one of the craziest things that even my uncle believes for some weird reason. California is a notoriously draconian state. Our prison population is overcrowded. Okay. We have a horrifying structure, torturous conditions in general. Okay. And yet people literally think that like, we're just letting everybody out. We're doing patty cakes in prison. Like we don't have like a notoriously bad criminal justice process here in this state. It's pretty crazy. We literally make prisoners fight wildfires in this country. Surely Kamala Harris didn't have a statement on that, on the prisoner slave labor population. Let's continue.
She ran out of money and she struggled to break through.
Although I am no longer running for president, I will do everything in my power to defeat Donald Trump and fight for the future of our country.
Joe Biden is officially the Democratic Party nominee for president.
And I commit that I will, in fact, pick a woman to be vice president.
Post-summer 2020, we were in this George Floyd moment.
Biden was talking about passing the torch eventually to a new generation of leaders. And the idea that he would be picking a black woman, somebody who was younger than he was, suggested that he would be picking essentially an heir to the Democratic Party.
I have no doubt that I picked the right person to join me as the next Vice President of the United States of America, and that's Senator Kamala Harris.
And the road ahead will not be easy, but America...
She did argue against the reduction of prison overcrowding in the state of California because such an act would make the state lose low-wage workers. Wait, stop.
Is ready. And so are Joe and I.
The first year and a half of her vice presidency, not great, to put it mildly.
We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
She was given the assignment of...
I love that. That's one of my favorite. That is actually low-key one of my favorite Kamala moments. And I haven't been to Europe. I love that. That is literally a Veep line. Dude, that is straight up Selena Meyer. God, I'm going to be unbearable. But Kamala Harris is so Selena Meyer coded. I'm not even like, I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like she was invented by Armando Iannucci.
Of leading diplomatic efforts with Mexico and some Central American countries to address root causes of migration to the southern border.
This is a no-win issue, especially early in a vice presidency. You know, what Kamala Harris is going to solve El Salvador?
Do not come.
To the extent that there are even...
Okay, this person is like riding pretty hard. I'm sorry, but this person is, holy moly, riding Harris so far. Every time she says something, it's like, oh, what is she supposed to do? Solve El Salvador? No, it's not. Public correctional facilities have gone to private facilities by contract to have below 70% of capacity than the state has to pay. I worked at the Elizabeth Detention Center for INS. It's bought the money. Be real. What? Are you saying that they wanted to keep prisoner population at a certain level in an effort to make sure that they didn't have to pay for the entire process? Is that what you're saying? I mean, literally, though, she's the VP. What unilateral power does she have? Brother, that's a ridiculous abdication of duty and responsibility in this situation when you're talking about an elected position on a ticket. It's the second most powerful part of the ticket. She was appointed the border czar. It was a few move by Joseph Robinette Brandon. But what the fuck are we talking about? Why are we excited about Tim Walz then? I mean, come on. Like, the entire point of that, look, listen to me. Joe Biden over Kamala Harris. I've been saying this. I used to make fun of this all the time. In the beginning of the presidency, I used to make fun of this all the time. Joe Biden would make Kamala do side quests that were like the worst cleanup duty of all time. That's why she was on the border, okay? It is the worst possible job. They made her the border czar, bro. It's an awful place to put the VP. It was revenge for her calling out Biden for busing her in her youth at the debate. Yeah, yeah. Kamala Harris did not want to do prison overcrowding. No, we know that already. Come on, we know that. I know that. I was joking when I was responding to that chatter when I said, "Oh, I sure hope that Kamala Harris didn't have a statement about prisoners in our overcrowded facilities."
Metrics to determine one's success in this role, they're probably not going to become clear for another decade at best.
She was definitely becoming a team player for the Biden administration, but she was also kind of turning her back on a lot of her previous platform as a child of immigrants, but also as someone who's been a huge champion of immigration policy and immigration reform.
And she is interviewed by Lester Holt.
One of the first major media interviews that she gave, really introducing herself to a lot of Americans for the first time. Very basic and anticipated questions, such as, have you yourself been to the border yet? She could not seem to give a straight answer.
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point.
In the aftermath of that, there were not a lot of major media.
There seems to be so much to attack her. Why aren't the Republicans do it? What, you think Republicans are going to shit on her for being tough on crime? What are you, insane? Dude, it's literally a cop versus convict race. What the? Yeah, dude, Republicans are going to start buying ads in Texas to be like, Kamala Harris wanted to enslave black people further. It's like, what, you want her to win Texas? What? You're crazy.
Appearances for her. That one interview became sort of the anchor that a lot of Americans had when it came to, you know, what do you know about this person?
The difference, obviously, between now.
Like, as much as I hate to admit this, policing as an institution is deeply from this country, and yet policing as an institution is deeply popular in this country. I hate it. It's one of my like least favorite, probably one of the biggest mismatches between like what the reality is objectively and how Americans perceive certain things. I hate it so much, but Americans love cops. Okay. They love cops. That's why it's always so funny when people are like, we are not respecting our cops more. It's like, bro, there is literally no profession in the United States of America that receives like fellatio that they do not deserve more than cops. They on a regular basis. It's built into the process that they get no repercussions for it. And yet Americans are like literally 70%. They're like, oh, I love cops. Young people hate cops, dog. Your local police has a 68% favorability rating. Your state police has a 65% favorability rating. County sheriffs have a 62% favorability rating. That's a 38 net. There is no profession that is as consistently popular as cops. We are very unique. This might be, I'll be honest with you, I'll give it $150, okay? We in this community have a lot of opinions that do not reflect the broader American society. We're on the edge on a lot of, okay? This might be the one thing that we are diametrically opposed to the rest of the country on, okay? Straight up. U.S. Capitol Police is 52% favorable, 27 unfavorable, is plus 25 net. That might be partially because of Coast Guard, Air Force, Marines, Navy, Army, Special Space Force. Space Force. I would not bundle county sheriffs in that same band as cops for favorability. No, dude, sheriffs is separate. And sheriffs are literally, what are you talking about? Sheriffs are literally less favorable than cops. Sheriffs have a net 38. Local cops have 44. Sheriffs are also awful in general. That's like, sheriffs are even worse than regular cops, which is crazy. Oh my God. Have you ever eaten a croissant like this, bro? Please don't show me this. I saw it. Like, this is, like, I'm not gonna lie. This is, like, I think Dr. Umar saw this and had a heart attack. Like, I think he didn't even see the tweet. He just, like, knew that, like a presence of the force had been disturbed. Like, it zapped him. You know what I mean? He didn't even have to see it. He felt it. And I think I think he sensed that disturbance and it broke him. Like every part of this tweet is so insane, from like him just like RG3 showcasing his throat goes. Like I feel like he literally dislodged his jaw for the photo op. He's got the thick side of the croissant in comparison to the lady. Obviously, you got like the you know, for Dr. Umar's purposes, you got the Snow Bunny side of the conversation, but that's not what I'm getting into. Obviously, I'm you know, a Yakubian devil myself and also pro miscegenation. But like he took the thick side of the croissant, he lodged it so far down, right? He lodged it so far down, mouth fully open, okay? Mouth fully open. And also the tweet, because many people just get locked in. Many people just get lasered in on the throat, on the throating here, okay? But a lot of people, I think, don't realize, yeah, it's his wife. A lot of people don't realize that, like, well, first of all, they're wearing like the same, like their outfit matching, which is crazy too. But he said it's always croissant o'clock in Paris. Like, arguably, that is so scrum diddly umptious type in terms of like tweeting, like Oakley dokley, it's croissant o'clock. Like, what the f is going on? I mean, it's very cute, but this is like this is exactly the type of like I said, this is so in Dr. Umar's wheelhouse. Like, this is Ned Flanders, bro. That's crazy. Enjoying a flaky baked goodness with your wife in Paris is a flex, but brother, they are going to cook you for this image, said Mighty Keith. Not gonna lie, y'all got us in stitches over here with the replies and quotes. How long would it take you to eat this buttery greatness? Yo, what the fuck? Got dude fired at ESPN for saying he was a cornball, bro. Bro, I just don't get the joke. It's just homophobia. No, dude. Everyone's cooking him for, you know, posting like a cornball, like a white guy. It has nothing to do with homophobia, man. Yeah. I feel like this is the reverse of what you see on TikTok, which I always thought was like weird with the black.
In a row. I am starving. My stomach is in my ass. Somebody help. 2 weeks dating a white girl. I invited her to my family reunion, but my uncles didn't say, hey, I'll see you, nephew. So I felt kind of sad. But we did teach her how to do the Cupid Shuffle, so that's progress. 1 month dating a white girl, and we just left a Billie Eilish concert, and now she's going to make green bean casserole. Oh, suck it. Yes, the night just keeps getting better. 6 months dating a white girl. We got yoga at 8, brunch at 12, and we're going to go to Yosemite Park later on. Pumpkin spice latte for the win every time. This is 1 year dating a white girl. She's my sugar plum honey bun.
Oh my God. Okay. Hey, I used to work for Adidas when he launched his pro career, so I work with him a lot one-on-one. I can tell you this post is so on par for him. He's just kind of a silly, dumb dude. No, he is. I mean, it's like, this is inoffensive. This is obviously the internet's going to rip him apart. Like, he's just having fun. I have no issues with this. Okay. Please understand that I'm just memeing. Like, he's just a dork, you know? There's nothing wrong with being a dork, but also like croissant o'clock. Oh, this buttery goodness. He said this buttery greatness. I'm in stitches over here. Yum. Scrum diddly umptious. Dating white people is hard. You start going to rabbit funerals and there's levels to this. There's level to this. When LeBron does it, it's calculated. Yo, no. When LeBron does it, is awesome. Come on. When LeBron posts like a white girl on Instagram, it's the best, dude. When he's like the classic, oh, I can't believe this is my life. Or it's Taco Tuesday. It's different. There's a different energy to it. I'm not even kidding. There's a different energy to it. No, it's not. There is literally a different energy to it when he does it. The Bart drawing. Yes. You're shameless. Come on. Okay. You guys are being white supremacists again, bro. You're being, goddamn, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy that you guys are, I forgot how white supremacy was thriving in this community. I forgot for a second. And now I feel up that even I brought up the RG3 situation because some of you are wearing Klans robes again. First of all, I'd like to wish you a happy Women's History Month. Oh my God. RG3 was born in Japan. We got to stop Asian hate, brother. Wait, is he's an army brat? I didn't know that. But that also explains why he's so corny. Like, for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes so much sense. I'm begging you, bro. Look at his hair closely. What? Oh, what was it? What was up with his, what? I mean, he's in France. You know what I mean? He's in France, you know? Maybe? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh no. I didn't even notice. I thought you were, oh, bro, this is why when I was in Texas, I was telling Nick, like, remember when he got that fade the one time and he looked like a foy and then he never got it again. And I was like, bro, you have to go to a black barber. Did he get the haircut on the flight over? Maybe it's the photo, dude. Maybe it's like the camera or something. That's so bad. That's a hate crime. I hate to say it. This is a young Republican fade for sure. It is. It is like straight up. This is straight up like it's not 4G auto blow. I'm talking like Young Americans for Freedom ass fade. It's not a fade. That's an immediate. Show your hairline, bud. Bro, I don't think you understand. Like, I don't have a fade there or whatever this is. I mean, this lineup is so bad. This lineup is so brutal. It's like we've moved beyond the lineup. The lineup is so brutal. We move beyond like a white barber or a French barber. Like, it's like a blind barber. Like, cause I feel like this is not like a white guy would this up, but like not this bad. You know what I mean? It was like a uniquely bad. That's a halt, not a fade. Why you got RG3 Kirbying the buttery greatness zoomed in? It's a jump cut, not a fade. Okay, we're done. This is crazy. He let his wife cut his hair. Be nice. Okay, let's get back to Kamala Harris. I can't believe we just skipped around. We haven't done a single news bit yet today. Joe Rogan, Kamala Harris, RG3's ass fade. Like, what are we doing? This is okay. Let's continue.
In 2020 is the Dobbs decision.
The moment where the Kamala Harris that voters are seeing right now really started to come into being was in 2022 when the Dobbs decision leaked.
The woman's right to abortion has been overturned and will lead to nearly total bans on the procedure in about half the states.
The significance of that is profound in terms of what it means for the rights of individuals, and in particular for the right of an individual to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
Through my reporting, what I found was that she was virtually the only major official in Washington who understood the salience of that issue. Suddenly, she sees for herself a role.
Bro, Glaze, you're crazy, bro. What are you saying? She said, I researched the entirety of Washington and found out, bro, I don't even throat LeBron this hard, okay? As a matter of fact, you've become the LeBron of throating. You've become the RG3 of throating. Kamala Harris. What the she said Kamala Harris is the only woman who understood the salience of the issue of abortion in the Democratic Party. Bro, you literally said you wanted a four-way tongue fight with KD, Steph, and LeBron. Okay, first of all, you're homophobic. Second of all, you're white supremacist. And last but not least, at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $6 or for free. I didn't say that, any of that. You guys shut up. I didn't say that. People weren't in here when I said it. Why are you repeating the things I didn't say? Dynamic Jab, thank you for the 5 gifted. Edge Runner, thank you for the 5 gifted. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. Nah, you literally said that, bro. It was an emotional moment. I felt pride, okay? Pride in my country, pride in the gay way. I felt it in my heart. I would kiss him. Whatever, I don't care. It was in the 15-minute barrier after watching LeBron highlights. I've already told you I am not responsible for the things I say. In that 15-minute leading up to the highlight and 15-minute, it's like the police camera. You know what I mean? You know how the police camera's like you before you turn it off or turn it on, it like still is rolling and there's like a 30-second window that also is captured. It's like that. I have a LeBron window. If I'm going to watch a LeBron highlight footage 15 minutes prior, 15 minutes after, I am not responsible for the things I say. Anyway, let's continue with this.
Who understood the salience of that issue. Suddenly, she sees for herself a role in this administration, being the spokesperson for the Biden White House on the issue of abortion.
I cannot stress this enough. I'm going to run this back. I'm sorry. This woman, in all sincerity, said, the Dobbs decision leaked in 2022, and I researched everyone in American politics and found out that Kamala Harris was the only person who understood the significance of abortion. What? Emma absolutely cooked you. This is fire. Wait a second. What's that on Hassan's shoulder?
To you, I say, you're absolutely goddamn right. I do serve the 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. And honestly, there's not really much you can do about it.
That's crazy because I just ran the ad break. We're hearing that there's emergency vehicles outside the White House. Wait, what? I mean, I don't know why the fire department would be there if Biden is dying. All right, let me finish this before we get to the most insane news cycle of all time, followed up by even more insane
when the Dobbs decision leaked.
The woman's right to abortion has been overturned and will lead to nearly total bans on the procedure in about half the states.
The significance of that is profound in terms of what it means for the rights of individuals, and in particular for the right of an individual to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
Through my reporting, what I found was that she was virtually the only major official in Washington who understood the salience of that issue.
No! Glaze! That's crazy.
She was virtually the only major official in Washington who understood the salience of that issue.
It's not a thing that, like, you can't. This is an insane thing to say. I normally you could say like, oh, Hasan, you're like hyper focusing on what she's saying. Like, who cares? Move on. I cannot begin to explain to you how insane of a statement this is. Like, it is the most significant policy decision that impacts half the population. Virtually every Democrat was screaming it for the rooftops. No, it wasn't just Kamala Harris that like understood that abortion was going to be a big problem. Like that, what the?
Suddenly, she sees for herself a role in this administration, being the spokesperson for the Biden White House on the issue of abortion. It's something that is very sincere to her beliefs.
This is about people having the freedom to make the decision that is in their own best interest.
I think that was hugely essential for her growth as a politician and just trusting her own instincts.
In America, freedom is not to be given. It is ours by right.
Now we're seeing her in more comfortable settings, especially in the last year, college tours, small businesses, talking about economic opportunity and loan cancellation, climate, and it's those kinds of forums where she really does shine.
We are not going back.
The speech that she gave in Wisconsin was really interesting, where she almost stumbles into a new rallying cry for the campaign. The folks who were in that high school auditorium latched on to that line and started chanting it back to her. And she realizes in the moment that she has stumbled upon a new phrase. It is specific enough to resonate with people. It's general enough to not necessarily have to define it too carefully. That kind of describes not just her campaign, not just this moment, but can describe a little bit of just how spoiled and rotten the vibes were in the country before Biden dropped out, because it's an opportunity for a lot of folks to be re-inspired and reawakened.
The word authenticity is often so fraught with racial and undertones, but you look at the rallies, the talks that she's doing right now, this is a person who's having fun.
The most important thing I love you back.
That ease and confidence with which she is currently carrying herself is reflective of someone who knows that the story of her career basically is not a net negative for her.
I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
You've seen her kind of embrace her biography as a person, as a woman of color, and she's realized that her personal story is actually powerful and it helps her relate to people, it helps voters relate to her.
She's a complex woman who has complex ideas and is very cautious, steady, not going to rock the boat a whole lot, and down the middle, a consensus person.
I'll tell you on the subject of my mother, and I keep saying this, but it's true. You know, she said, just since we were young, you know, you may be the first to do many things, but make sure you're not the last.
Really quickly before you go, we have.
Was this ad sponsored by Kamala Harris's campaign? Because they should disclose that. They can't. You can't be doing this. You can't be posting a Kamala Harris campaign ad without disclosing that you're doing a Kamala Harris campaign ad. That was wild. Anyway, look. It's cool. Kamala Harris, what did we learn? She was, you know, both progressive and aggressive at times as a prosecutor, as her, you know, cop record. She was also the first woman to care about abortion. She discovered the importance of the issue of abortion for the Democratic Party. Bro, have you considered this? Wait, what is, I saw the, if you replace the word Zionist with Jew in a sentence that you're about to say, and it sounds anti-Semitic, reconsider what you're about to say. But those are two entirely different things. Brace's response. Oh man, if you think that's bad, try putting the N-word in there. No bueno. Anyway, look, we got some shit I got to talk about. It's not just about Kamala Harris, who's Attorney General office tried to keep inmate locked up for cheap labor. Lawyers from California also argued it's allowing certain inmates to be paroled early with depleted program that allowed prisons to fight wildfires. Like, her prosecutorial record and her cop background is not great. It's bad. It was part of the reason why I was like very anti-Kamala Harris from the jump. Okay. Also, here is senior White House correspondent for ABC News, former CNN correspondent. Emergency trucks pulled up outside the White House gates. Multiple entrances to the White House have been blocked off. Biden is in Delaware, so what's happening in the White House isn't related to him. That's a bummer. I mean, I meant, thank God. Oops. I just slipped out. I meant the opposite of that thing. The dogs again. Yeah. People adding Secret Service in my chat after I said that, but like, they're too busy getting eaten alive by Biden's dogs. Anyway. I thought I saw somewhere that Kamala's attorney general during most of those lockups and not as many were locked up while she was district attorney. Can you provide any insight? Bro, as the attorney general, you still have power over like what is going on in the state. Like you have influence over it. How Kamala Harris fought to keep nonviolent prisoners locked up by the American Prospect. The California attorney general, she spent years subverting a 2011 Supreme Court ruling requiring the state to reduce its prison population. The overseeing judicial panel nearly found the state in contempt of court. So the irony is, whenever people talk about, whenever people personally talk about how Kamala Harris, like Republicans keep talking about how Kamala Harris is like, was releasing prisoners. It's like, no, dude, she did the exact opposite. She kept them in. Okay. So they're wrong about that issue. Kept them in specifically for the, oh my God, this is so